Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming. I'm going to talk with you guys for a few minutes before we jump into some of the purchases that I've made, and then we'll open up a booster pack at the very end. So what I want to talk to you guys about today, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm actually excited for the hobby right now. Seems like a lot of people are down. Prices are coming down. Is Pokemon crashing? Is the world ending? The short answer is no. This is just another season in really what you would normally see during this time of year for Pokemon. Last year was just different. COVID threw a wrench into the system and ended up being a good wrench for Pokemon. But typically you see prices go stale or stagnant or decline during this time of year. And it might be heightened this year because of all of the extra attention they got last year. But for me, I'm actually very excited for Pokemon. On the selling end of it, we can buy, sellers can buy stuff for more reasonable prices where we have a margin and we can think about selling, once we get the product in. Really you had that this past year, but you had to think about, hey, is this going to double next week? Now we can think of, hey, is this price going to be stable between now and next week? Do I think it's going to drop 60%? That's it. Nothing's normally going to drop that amount during a week, but that is something that you have to, factor in, because we have seen some staggering drops on specific items. However, for the most part, we've just seen a steady decline coming into the summer, and while everybody's kind of going outside a little bit more, and money's a little bit tighter, and that's okay. I mean, sometimes that does happen. It's just you have to adjust, you have to adapt to the market, buying and selling, constantly doing it. And I think it's good for the people who held their money, said, hey, I'm not going to invest in these crazy prices because Pokemon shouldn't be this high. And you know what? If you're that guy, you should have a wad of cash in your money because you haven't been buying for a year. If you're the person buying and selling this whole time, you should also have a wad of cash in your pocket because you did good for the past year. You might lose out on a few items now that prices have come back down, but you know what? That's okay. What you should have made in this past year should more than way over cover what you're going to lose on a few items. One example for me, I lost out on the special delivery Pikachu. You guys know that I bought in several of those sealed promos when they were $300. PSA 9s are not even, they're under $200 in auction now, so it's a definite loss for me if I try to sell those things now. But that's a long-term hold, so I'm banking on that coming up in the long term because it has a lot of, as S.M. Pratt would say, it has a lot of fundamentals to me. It is mass printed. It's not super scarce or anything like that, but it's not crazy common, and it's still expensive, and it's very popular. It's got a nice little release to it and backstory, so I like it. But if I was to sell right now, I would lose out money. So the biggest thing here I would say is, it might not be an exciting time for you if you're in a position where you have to sell. But if you put yourself in a position where you have to sell, I mean, you really have yourself to blame, because I don't think any YouTuber, there's been a lot of YouTubers getting, bashed for what they've said and talked about the market and this and that, but I don't think any of them have said, hey, put yourself in debt. Make it to where you have to sell Pokemon when it's at its lowest. Nobody said that. So if you're that person, I'm sorry, I feel for you, because, you're probably going to feel a little bit of heat right now when you're trying to sell these items. You're going to see them go for way less than, when the market was at the high. But please do realize nobody ever buys, always at, the low and then sells at the high. It just doesn't happen. We all buy and sell and then lose, some here, we win some there. You want to have more wins than losses, but at the end of the day, don't put yourself in debt. Don't put yourself where you have to sell. If right now you just need to hold and be bored with the hobby for 3-4 months, then maybe that's what you got to do. For those of us who do this for a living like I do, I'm going to be buying and selling throughout this entire period. I'm going to be buying and selling the PSA cards when they're $20, $40, and when they're $100, $200. The same cards. Because this time last year, I was selling GXs, PSA 10s for $19.99. I mean, there was a lot of GXs, seriously, that I was selling, like from Unified Minds and sets like that, for under $20. So we're still way ahead of where we were. But you can definitely tell, it's come back since that high I put in about the third week of October. And that's okay. I'm actually excited on the buying side. I can get back to what it used to be, where if you went into an auction, you could actually win something for a lot less than if you went through a buy now. If you had the patience to go and put in a bid, usually you could win something for 60 to 90% of the full buy now value. Whereas this past year, it's been like, hey, if you go to auction, you're probably going to have to pay even more because you're going to wait too long. That auction is going to bring attention to the card. People are going to go buy it, the lowest buy now ones, and then you're going to end up paying more. Well, it's kind of normalizing now, and I like that. It kind of makes me more excited for the hobby. It gives people opportunities. Also gives sellers opportunities to buy products from people and still have a margin. They don't have to think about, oh, hey, this guy, he's going to want, it's $100 a day, so he's going to want $125 to sell it to me, because by the time it gets to the person he's selling it to, it's going to be worth $150. That's kind of a far-fetched way to think, but that's how it worked this past year. It was insane, because you'd see these new record prices almost every single week, and now it's like, hey, if it's worth $100, I'll give you $60 for it, because the price could come up and down. I have to take risk. I have to eat the fees. And people are more open to that now. They realize prices, they're stable. They don't want to have to go through the work of selling it themselves. And then so they'll actually give sellers a little bit of that margin. So it's nice, from a selling perspective. From the buying perspective, I don't think you have anything to complain about at all right now, because prices are way more affordable. It's nice. I believe there's more product for the newer stuff, and then for the older stuff, it's definitely more available and the prices are lower. So I hope you guys take this as a little bit of a refreshment and think, hey, I can be excited. Even though prices are down, it doesn't mean that it's the death of the hobby or who I am, my identity. But you might have to change. You might have to change what you're doing right now. Like, I'm doing a little bit more buying, a little bit more holding. I'm selling things that I don't really want as much, that I don't care if they bring a little bit lower price. And sometimes that's what happens. You might want to save that really rare stuff. Don't throw it in auction right now. Just wait until the market's a little bit more primed, or there's enough recognition coming out, for whatever release it was from, and then sell then. Give it another opportunity later on down the road. But anyways, like I said, I hope you guys take it as more of a refreshment. Realize that the market's okay right now. This is just something that happens. It's another season. And you can capitalize, one way or the other, if you're a buyer or a seller, and just remember to adapt. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys some things that I'm buying. You guys know that I started in on the Japanese Charizards. I got a few of those to show, but I picked up a reverse holo Firo from Expedition. I didn't go cheap on this one. I would love to have gotten this one in an auction. I think it would have went for cheaper. I think I paid like $600 for it or something. But I'm getting down to my last few reverse holos, well, not few, last couple dozen reverse holos for each set. So anytime I see one pop up, I try to weigh out what I think it would be worth. And I probably paid up on this one, but I really like the condition, like the centering, and it was one that I could just go ahead and check off. So I went ahead and did it. Next up, we have a Japanese Charizard. This is from Amazing Volt Tackle. I'm still trying to go through and figure out which ones have First Edition Unlimited. I don't think any of the newest release ones have First Edition Unlimited. But like CP6, there's First Edition on stuff, and I've heard a lot of people say there is Unlimited, but I can't find them. So maybe some of you guys could chime in there and help me out with which sets actually have First Edition and Unlimited. I'm sure there's some... there's something on E4 that already has it out there, but I'd love just to have a master set list for all the Charizards. That would be nice. But I added that one to my collection. See, I bought this one. Got a Charizard and Braxton GX Hyper Rare. I'm finding that the Japanese Full Arts and Hyper Rares are pretty comparable in price to the US ones, mainly for the new ones anyways. This one actually comes from Pokeboo. Thank you for your purchase. And there's his Instagram. He actually threw in a free Suicune. I think this is from like a starter kit. See that right there? So that was pretty cool. So thank you for that. We have this right here. This is an an Execute. I almost said Electrocute. Like, I guess I was trying to mix Execute and Electabuzz. This is a Gem Mint 10. I've got the regular, but this is actually the attempted corrected Execute, if that makes any sense. So if you look right here, over the energies, most of these were printed with an error. The holofoil was printed over the energies in the attack, but you can see right here, like these are fine. you're not actually supposed to have the foil printed over the energies, but for some reason the energy attacks, or the energy in the attacks, had the foil printed over them. So I guess they attempted to correct that in another print run, but when they did that, they actually misaligned the holes. Almost like a shadowless type alignment. But you can see that there. I got this from Delibird Deals. You guys probably seen some of his stuff on IG. He didn't send a card or anything, but he's a pretty cool guy. I got to meet him at the Hartford Collectors event. Next up, we have a Reshiram and Charizard GX, and this is the Gold All-Stars card. I was kind of surprised at how expensive this was. Not terribly surprised, but overall I got a decent deal on it, and I was going to try and wait and bid on one at auction, but I really liked it. I liked how they brought Charizard out with red on this gold card, so that was cool for me, and I went ahead and picked it up. And then last but not least, I picked up a Dark Charizard. Ironically, the Dark Charizard was cheaper than that Gold Charizard. It's got a nice swirl there. I think I paid $750 for this. It's kind of ironic to me how cheap, the older Japanese Charizards are compared to the newer Japanese Charizards. But I think that might speak more to how popular, this game is with the newer generations. And I'm wondering if, thinking about it, are we missing the mark? Because these older cards, they should be more valuable. They should be way more valuable. But these newer cards are already, just as valuable, if not more. Are they going to really decrease because, of our thinking that, hey, this should always be more expensive, or are they going to really shoot up because of how many of these people that are playing in it now as part of a newer generation, and they're going to like that stuff, and then maybe one day they're going to age into the same wallet size that we have now. So it's always kind of playing in the back of my head which way I should go, but I connect with this. So if in general I had to choose between this card and this card, I'd still go with the old Dark Charizard. I mean, that's just my personal preference. Alright, now we have one booster pack to open up. I know I've given you guys an earful. This is for Caleb J. He bought a Neo Discovery First Edition Heavy, and he says, I just hope I get that Umbreon. So we're down to, I think, 5 packs or so. I don't believe we pulled either the Espeon or the Umbreon. That last one that was opened up, that ended up being my pack, the Polyfade. There we go. That didn't want to pop open. What I like about these Neo Discovery packs is that it should be the very last card. Backside already looks very nice. We'll turn that one around last. Alright, Caleb, you have a Weedle, Mareep, Tyrogue, Spinarak, Poliwag, Kabuto, Caterpie, Kakuna, Unknown N, and Scyther. Scyther, one of the best uncommons. Eevee would probably beat it out. Houndour's pretty good too. Alright, so we'll take a check at the backside. Got a little white dot right there. Other corners look pretty good. Oh, man! I don't know how many videos ago it was now, but the last person who wanted a Blastoise actually got the Blastoise. Let me get you a different case. Looks like there's something, it might be on the outside, but I'm going to switch cases just in case. You got the Umbreon, dude. Wow. Oh, dude, it's got a sweet swirl right there, too. He's hollow on his body. I can't remember if that's supposed to be like that or not, but you can definitely see the hollow foil, especially in person. His whole body's hollow. The moon is not, but his body is definitely shimmering, and so is that rock. Wow, really nice. It's a good looking Umbreon. I think it does have a print line right here on the right side. You can see that. It did have that one little white dot. But other than that, you called it. You said you just hope you get that Umbreon, and that's exactly what you got. We've had some good pulls, lately from some of these boxes. But then again, we've been opening up a lot of packs too. So I guess it's inevitable. Wow. Great card, man. Congratulations, Caleb. I'm glad you pulled it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks.